Welcome to beautiful Bali. I'm at Dewi, which is the home of my upcoming teacher training. Not until January, February 2024, but if you're interested, let me know. It's going to be pretty sweet. A beautiful spot in the jungle up by Mount Barakaru. So it's going to be a special space. And speaking of special spaces, today wanting to offer a short yin class that is supportive in helping us find center, find refuge. And what I mean by that is refuge. So refuge is like a safe harbor, is somewhere where we can go and be at ease. And we think about it like as a physical place, as like a logistical place, but we need to find that within ourselves because the world is a bit hectic. And if we're always relying on, how things are going or things to be a certain way, people to act a certain way, well, we don't have any control over that. We spend a lot of time gripping and making sure everything's just so, but if we can create an inner refuge within ourselves, a centeredness within ourselves, a place where we can find ease, even while life does this, either it's like, woo, it's incredible and ecstatic, or it's painful and sorrowful, because it's both. Rumi says there's 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. And then can we be here for it all? Can we be open to it all? And this equanimity, it's called Uppekha. I'm cradling life. That's what I was doing. Uppekha means equanimity. And that is the ability to be here for it all, the good and the bad, and to have this sense of centeredness in spite of, even with all of it going around. And it's not apathetic. It's not like we don't have feelings, but it's that we have an anchor point so that we can go this way a bit, we can go this way a little bit, but we're actually anchored within ourselves. And that refuge needs to be created within us so that it's not reliant. Tall order, really powerful and really important to do for all humans, whatever type of recovery that you're in. But I know in my own recovery from substance addiction, being able to be okay with myself was almost impossible for a lot of my life. I always wanted to change the way that I felt, and regardless, or something was happening on the outside, I needed to do something to fix it, to hide it, to manage it, to numb it. But the ability to just be okay, it doesn't mean the ability to be great or to be wonderful or to be the way we want to be, but the ability to be okay, the inner refuge, has to be cultivated, because that's not a normal state for a lot of us. So Uppekha, an evenness. One translation is the in the middle-ness, which I love that, in the middle-ness. In the middle of it all, and being able to stand open palm, open-hearted. I can be here. I know this is challenging. I can be here. I know this is good and I don't need more. Oof, that's a hard one, huh? Of just being okay. So in our yin practice today, which is really challenging for me to be able to stay and to slow down, just staying in the middleness of it. It might be challenging. It might be edgy. Can you just stay with it? And this doesn't mean to push yourself into a really challenging pose and then grit and bear it. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking to override. We're looking to find a semblance of steadiness in the middleness. So as we begin, let's start with the mudra, which is just a hand gesture, which has some intention that we infuse into it. So let's do universal trust. So you can take the hands together like this and then interlace the palms. And then we'll open the palms towards you, thumbs up. Bring the hands to heart center and then bring the heart center back into the hands. So there's this kind of sense of support here. Close your eyes down if that feels okay. And just making a commitment to stay with yourself, to not turn away. It's one of the most powerful commitments that we can do, is to stay with ourselves after maybe a lifetime of turning from. To stay and tend, to say, I care about this pain, I care about you, to stay and nurture in maybe ways that we were never nurtured. How do we relearn that if we weren't taught? Slowly. In Bali, they say hati hati, slowly, slowly, gently, carefully. We unwind, we unlearn, and we relearn. So committing here to find your center, to find your refuge, to stay. Big inhale. Out the mouth. Let's begin in Baddha, which is a Sanskrit word, a fancy Sanskrit word for butterfly pose. Bring the soles of the feet together. And we're going to pour forward. And don't worry about how far you go forward. You're just going to soften. Soften the posture, like get into a really bad posture. Let the shoulders soften. Let the chin go to the chest. Let the belly be soft and puff out. And then maybe you can come forward a little bit. Maybe the hands are at the ankles. Maybe they walk forward. There's so many options here, but just soften down like you're melting like butter. Maybe you're stiff butter. Maybe you're really melty butter. You can also use props. And that's it. You're going to find somewhere, wiggle yourself in, see where you want to be, and then practice to stay. If you're uncomfortable, then move. This isn't, there's no punishment here. There's nothing like that. Do what you need, but lean towards finding a space where you can stay. Finding a center point in this pose. Yin really offers us, each pose really offers us the ability to stay a while and to get to know ourselves, to understand where the mind goes when it goes, to notice how the breath is, to be curious about our tendency to want to fantasize or ruminate or say internalized obscenities towards the teacher. And just notice it, just observing. So yin is normally held for a couple minutes to maybe 5 minutes. And there's a slow softening. So you're not going when you begin to like the farthest point because it's going to deepen as you're there. So you're finding a growing edge. Don't let this be a place where you're like trying to, do it right and go as far as you can. It's just a growing edge and just finding softness and practicing allowing. And where can you be in the middle-ness of this pose? Three more rounds of breath. And see if you can soak up even more, sponge up even more rather than preparing to move. Can you savor here? Slowly with the hands finding the earth or the body and pushing yourself up. Then we'll have a rebound. So always have a little rebound in yin. Lean back, bring the soles of the feet on the ground, and we'll windshield wiper the legs. Side to side. We're going to go into dragon pose. So come to hands and knees. We're going to take the left foot, take it up and bring it outside the left hand. So anywhere that you'd like to put, if you'd like to put something underneath the knee, you can also roll up the mat on one side to get like a little bit more cushion. You can bring a bolster, anything you like. and the hands will be inside the left foot. You're slowly going to just melt the hips down. Might be a tall order for some, but find some softness. And know that what I'm saying, if I'm saying melty and your hips are not melting, that's okay. We're all coming from very different bodies, and a different body every day in the same person as well. So you can stay up on your hands. Some people might want to come down to the elbows or down farther. I'm going to stay up today because this feels like enough. I'm okay here. And so you can practice being in the middle-ness here and practice being okay by not going all the way to the edge or not going to where you don't feel anything, but finding that equanimity, that Uppekha, kind of in the middle of like this. This feels sustainable. And coming out of hectic addiction is often we don't know a lot about moderation and sustainability. So we're trying to find, we're repatterning, what does that look like to just have enough? Possibly as your edge grows, you might come a little bit deeper. You could also explore coming out a little bit and see what that feels like. Another exploration, if you want to, I like to come onto the pinky toe edge side of my front foot and kind of tilt my leg out a little bit. You can kind of see that. Just an option. And steady breath. Soften the jaw if you can. Relax the head if you can. Maybe finding a block to meet it. And we'll just be here for about another 5 rounds of breath. So it's about a minute of slow, steady breathing. When you're ready, hands finding the earth and pressing in. We're going to lengthen the front leg, and we'll take the little counter pose as a half split. So you're just going to lengthen the front leg and send the hips back. You can kind of move between the two for a moment, lengthening and coming forward. And then bring the knee back into tabletop. Maybe you switch your bolster to the other side. Wiggle the hips a bit and switch sides. So the left leg is going to come outside the right hand. Maybe pad your knee if you need, and you know where we're going, but it's not going to be the same as the other side. We always need to stay curious about where we're headed because we're always shifting. So figure out what you need on this side. Where is your okayness? You're in the middle-ness. Where's your center here? Where's a sustainable edge? And then can you drop in? Can you stay? Can you commit to you? Really, when we're talking about like an inner refuge, it's not a physical space, it's an inner refuge. And it's like this portable sensation of home that we can take with us wherever we are. So regardless of what's going on, we have this sense of home, of safe, of center. Yeah, that can go anywhere we are. Seeing if there's any space you can deepen or any place you want to soften. Three more rounds of breath here. Deepening if that feels good. Maybe pulling back a little bit if you need, using your discernment. Another skill that often can use some fine-tuning and recovery. And slowly coming out. Hands finding the earth and then pressing into the earth to begin to move the hips back. Lengthen the front leg. Pour forward. And then move any way you'd like in between these two shapes. And then bringing right knee back. Tabletop. One last pose here. We'll come into melting heart pose. So it can look different. But tabletop, we're going to bring the hands towards the top of the mat. Soften the elbows a little bit. The booty comes up and then literally melting the heart down. From the back of the heart all the way through to the front of the heart. Maybe the heart kisses the earth, or it's going in that direction. You can bring the forehead down. You could gaze forward, have the chin on the ground. You can also have a bolster or something underneath the heart. So your choice. And then find somewhere you can stay. Find your center here. Option to turn the palms up, this gesture of relief. Let's add a little mantra in here. On your inhale, you can say, I am. You say it out loud, and you can say it internally. And then the exhale is here. Just helping yourself land in center. Inhale, I am. Here. I am. Here. I am here. And continue if you'd like or not. One more big cycle of breath. As if the back of the heart could melt towards the front of the heart and get even more drippy in the heart space. And then next inhale, you can press down through whatever's touching the ground. Slowly walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. And just take a little wiggle here. And then hips move back to the heels. You can sit on your heels or cross-legged. To close, let's take another mudra, Bhumi Svara mudra. It's one hand to the heart and one hand to the ground. We'll take this version. Earth Witness mudra. Connecting ourselves. Finding center, finding stability, enoughness, equanimity. Being here for it in spite of. It's a brave thing. Recovery is brave. Ugh, such brave work. So taking a moment to honor yourself for that. Let's close by bringing the hands together, the thumbs of the third eye. Big inhale.
In gratitude and thanks. Namaste. I hope this class was of benefit. Please let me know what came up, how it was in the comments. I'd love to hear from you all. I will see you next time on your mat. So much gratitude.